Hello, welcome back to Dragons Arts and Crafts and my cheesy little sign. And my name of my channel finally spelled correctly. And first I spelled I realized I misspelled dragon. Yay me! Okay, again, it's an 18 plus channel. Do watch out for the episodes that are not children friendly. Sometimes I do slip in the mouth, sometimes things are not for children at a young age, but this one you're safe with, so let's get going. All right, the first thing, I scraped off what I could off this guy. I didn't bother with the bottom that much because I'm probably going to felt it when I get some felt. So there you are. So the first thing we need to do is clean this mess off. So let's go ahead and, yeah. So gonna eat that guy. All right. So we're gonna start doing. I'm not sure. I'm thinking I'm gonna just do like one little coat on him, and then maybe go over again. We're gonna see how it goes. I might just do little pieces. We'll see how it goes again. So, since I am using acrylic colors, I have a tub of water here. I usually have in a glass container, but my glass container I found out has a bunch of crud on the bottom of it. I didn't want to get stuck in my brushes. So, good old plastic container works just as well. I just prefer glass. And we're going to need our paintbrushes. We might not need this big boy, but we're going to see. These guys are the smallest ones I have in my kit at the moment. Let me double check. Yeah. So we're going to probably do with these guys. And the paint. Oh, we have to have the paint palette, which I apparently did not clean after my last use. Always clean your stuff afterwards. Oops. All right, so let's see. We're going to need some black. I'll move my drink over. Some black. Some of this orange that was originally on him. We're going to change the color a bit. Not sure which one for the ears, if I'm going for the fuchsia, which is kind of a bright pink, or the, what is this one? Bright magenta, which is a little darker, but still kind of on the bright side. But we're going to see. I might go with this one and then add a little black into it. So we'll see about that. And we got a little white. I think that's the all. Oh, probably not gonna get that far, but yellow. That's for in the eyes. Let me get a drink. All right. Oh, I just realized the cup that I'm using to hold my phone up is in the picture. Close view of my hand. Ooh. Okay. Scoot him over a little bit because I don't feel like scooting my chair over. All right, there we go. Now I got an old shirt on I don't care about. One of my old work shirts. I do not care about this shirt. Always wear clothes when you're painting, even acrylics, that you don't care about. I mean, you don't care if it gets stained. I don't care if it gets anything else on it. Whatever. Even some of that. All right. Full of jokes. All right, so his body, now I did dust him off a little bit using some canned air. I use short bursts because it does. If you go long bursts, it will put out a mist and it'll get this guy wet. So you want really short bursts. I'll give you an example as far away as I can. That quick. You don't hold it down. So hopefully that wasn't too bad. It's the same thing I use on my keyboard to clean it off. So Same stuff, canned air. All right, so I think we're going to start with the orange on this guy. So we want to stay away from his eyes and his muzzle. I believe the muzzle wants to be white. So we want his cheeks. And when I was scraping off the bib, I must have used 50 Shades of White because that was really hard to get off. But I guess I tried my best I could back here with the thicker paint. But we're going to get on and we're going to try to paint this guy and see what we can do with him. So his ears are orange. I kind of want to map out what we want here. His cheeks are going to be orange. His feet, his legs, I should say, his legs are going to be orange. We'll turn them around. The back of his head is a little tough. It's going to be white. So the back of his ears, the back of his head, he's what? And parts of his little tail. So let's start with the orange. Always shake your paints. I don't know how good these are going to be because I had them sitting for a while. So I'm going to do, how I mix my colors is a little weird. So I want this a little dark. So I'm going to start with one drop of the color. Get to where you can see that. And since I want to darken it with the black, I'm going to do one dot of the black. Now, there's a little more of the orange than the black in there, but that's okay. I am going to, since I don't have toothpicks, I am going to take a Q-tip and take the cotton off of it. Get as much of that off of there as possible because you don't want cotton stuck in your paint. So I'm going to pull this off as much as I can. Also, when painting, make sure your hands are clean. I always wash my hands before I go painting, just in case I've got something on them, the grease from eating, or picking up stuff, or from doing stuff. So we're going to mix this up. See if we can darken up that orange a little bit. All right, it's too dark. So we want to put another drop of orange in there. Beep. Mix it up. Okay, we are getting the consistency of mud. So this might not have been the best way to go. So let's go a little more orange. That was 3 drops of orange. Well, a big drop of orange. A little drop of black. There we go. Starting to get there. It's still a little greeny. This is just experiment, but it's still a little greeny. Try a little dab of white. Oh, white's a little runny. Okay, all I've managed to make is army green. Or, yeah, that's all I've managed to make. Let's go a little bit more orange. I don't think this is going to work out the way I wanted it to. Oh, there you go. Now we're starting to get that orange back. Still on the brown side. So we added a lot of orange. I lost track of how many little dots I put in there. So get a dark browny orange. I don't want the brown. I think the black was a mistake. we're going to call that a failure. So I'm going to figure out how to darken up this orange a bit. So yeah, I shouldn't add the white in there. Start over. 1. Well, that was a group. 2, 3. Just a little dab. Get another Q-tip. Or if you don't want to pull off the top of it, you just cut it. If you had sharp enough scissors to do so. Boop. Alright, let's see if this is going to just turn to mud again. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's turning to mud again. So the black is not going to work. So you might have to end up with a bright guy. Okay, I'm not going to waste any more paint because it's just going to turn into this shit brown again. Alright. So we're stuck with this guy. So let's go ahead and put just a little bit in here. I'm going to try something. A little bit of the black. In a different section. The bottom. See if this messes up. Okay, I got a stiff brush, so I'm working with my fingers just a little bit. Try not to break the bristles there, but just kind of wobble it a little bit. Try to get that stiffness out of it. And then what I'm going to do is just going to take a little bit of black, wipe it off a little bit, wipe it off. I'm going to put it right here. I want to thin it as much as I can, okay? Like that. Not the best way to dry paint, but always remember to have something to wipe your brush off with as you're cleaning off paint. So, little tiny orange, wipe it off so you don't glop it. See if that's gonna, and that's turning terrible brown. Okay, so we're just gonna have to deal with the bright orange, but I'm gonna paint him better. So, dry out the paintbrush. And we're going to do a little bit of this orange. I'm going to go around the muzzle. And I'm dabbing it in there, just a little tiny bit. Okay. And then you wipe it off. And then we go in and try not to hit his muzzle because you want that white. So we're going to do light coats on him. It's actually more the eyes I was unhappy with, so that's okay. This is going to be okay as the original orange, but like I said, I'll do a better job. I'm going to go all the way around his muzzle here, down to his mouth. Okay. And one more paint. I'm going to go around the cheek here. Can I turn the brush and the paint a bit? Get a point back on that brush. I don't know if you can see the point or not. Not a very good camera, but I'm going to get around where that stripe is at. Thin coats. That was my mistake also on this guy. I made too thick of coats. So I want to do thin coats across his face here. I just want to try not to hit that piece right there. It's okay because it's going to be covered to black if it does get hit, but I'm trying to do better than what I did before. So kind of want to go halfway this side of him orange, then when he gets right here it's going to be the black, so I kind of want to just the edge of that seam right there. And I don't want to get too much of his tuft because I think I'm going to make his tuft white. It was orange when I painted it originally, so I'm going to make the tuft white. I'm going to go on that edge. And kind of move the paint. Around his eyes, I just want the edge of it again. Right on there. Fix his nose. You see some little dips there that I have from my scraping, but it's alright. I'll fill that in a little bit. Not too big of a brush because I want to make sure I'm getting right to the edge of his eye. It's kind of swooping away from the eye. Make sure I don't overload my brush. This is what you don't want. You don't want that. The camera can't reach that. That goop, you don't want it gooped up like that. Yeah. So you want to kind of scrape it off a little bit on the edge of your palette. And then kind of go around his eye. And I'm just going to stop, edge it in there. As I say, I want his muzzle white. So I don't want too much of the orange in there, otherwise it's going to be really pain to get off. Probably should have started with the white first, but oh well, I started with orange. I'm gonna, on this side of his eye right here, towards his nose. Like that. And also what I'm doing is on the side, kind of rolling my brush so I can get a little point, so I can get into his little tiny areas a little better. Let's do the other eye. And around here. Trying to show as I'm going, and it's hard to angle on the camera and see what I'm doing. So if I angle it a little weird, see why I adjust. Let's move this a little bit. All right. Down his cheek here. I'll feather it out a little bit. Got too much paint. I'll feather it out. Around his little mouth here. In here. And I'm going to go in right close to this guy here, like the other side. Close to that stripe. Like that. Oh, I got the tiger, I got the stripe. But that's alright, it's going to be black. So I'm going to go close again to the tuff. Edge it out a little bit. Edge them out so that we know that this is going to be white. I'm also going to up a little bit of it, just a little bit, where his fur is going to blend in. Kind of smudge out that line a little bit. So you kind of want it light. So it's smudging out of that line so it's not so sharp. He's going to have a little bit of orange in his tuft there. It's probably going to get covered or lightened up a bit out of there. So he's going to have orangey tufts. Oops, not that orangey. Be careful. And you're kind of doing the feathering part where you're not going to get something that you don't want, like I just did. You want to make sure your paint's dry as possible. Very little paint on the brush. You fudge a little bit and use your finger. There. Like that. I think he's going to have a triangle right up here, where the white on his nose is going to stop. Take the brush, very little paint, smudgy the harsh line a little bit. Since he is a fur animal, we want really harsh lines. So it's already going to look better. This will be white in his nose. Now underneath his chin. Okay. Clean out this brush. When you wet your brush, just tap it on the bottom. Just lightly tap it on the bottom. Don't even like scrub it. Just here. Just lightly with the bristle. Okay. I'm going to squish it around, but make sure you're above the bottom of the container and swish it around. Wipe off the water. Take a paper towel or a paper napkin and go with the grain of the brush. And make sure you got all the paint out of it. And so you use your fingers a little bit to spread out, just lightly. You see what I'm doing? Just lightly make sure you got all that paint out. If you don't, swish it again.